873-5800.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I should have picked some spooky music for the next one, Robin. Liana Gardner is on the phone. She's the founder of her Be the Cat blog, volunteers with high school students through expfuture.org. Is that
Yes.
what I'm saying it right? Living with leukemia and lymphoma. Oh my gosh. She's been with us before, correct?
Yes.
She's a member of the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. She's a multi-award-winning author for middle grade and young adults. And listen to this one. This is called Speak No Evil. And I'm going to read from the listing on Amazon, which, by the way, she's getting really good ratings on there. It says, "My name. What if every time you told the truth, evil followed?" You got to read it like that.
That's right.
What if every time you told the truth, evil followed?
Exactly.
Then it says, "My name is Melody Fisher. My daddy was a snake handler in Appalachia until Mama died. Though years have passed, I can still hear the rattle before the strike that took her from me. And it's all my fault." Holy cow.
I know.
All right. Don't read this one in the dark. Oh, maybe you should read it in the dark. That's half the fun of it, right?
Of course.
Liana, how you doing? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm okay. And where are you?
I am in Southern California.
And you got up early to be with us, huh? Not too early.
But not really.
But you got nice weather there, right?
Yeah, it's a little overcast right at the moment, but I'm sure the sun will come out and roast us later in the day.
So you're getting really good reviews from the book. Is this a new genre for you, or have you done what do you call spooky books?
It's a little bit new in that I've not tackled something like this in the past. However, I do write very emotional type books, so that is right in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. And so tell me about the story. I guess we should jump into it since we have a short interview. Who's Melody Fisher?
Melody Fisher is a 16-year-old member of the foster system because both of her parents have passed away, and she is going through different experiences, and it culminates into where she has stabbed a classmate and has to go through therapy because the judge wants to hear her side of the story, and she hasn't spoken for 2 years.
Oh, literally hasn't spoken for 2 years.
Literally has not spoken through 2 years.
Oh, my gosh. And does she really believe in her heart that her words bring bad things to her?
Yes. Every time she speaks out about something, then something bad happens, and it just culminates in, it just is better not to say anything at all.
So is this a study, in a way, of something cultural, something social?
It wasn't really meant to be as I was starting off on it. It just, this idea kind of overwhelmed me, and I had to get it written. But I found at the end, which is really when I mostly find out what my books are about, after I've written them, is that it really is a cultural statement on how women are silenced or how victims are silenced. It doesn't really pertain specifically to women, but the amount of shame. I mean, this is 2019. We're going into 2020, and still today, if a woman is raped, if a woman is abused, or if anyone is, they are threatened by their abuser to keep quiet. The society does not want to hear it, to be honest with you. And it's always about what the victim did to ask for or cause their abuser to abuse them. And that is so totally opposite of what the facts are. Nobody goes out there and asks to be raped. Nobody does.
And one of the things you're doing to bring awareness to that is you're using this particular novel that you've written as a fundraiser for the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network.
Yes. So I want to bring awareness, and honestly, if this goes out there, and any teen who reads it gets the understanding that, A, they're not alone for those who are going through this, because so many times we think we're the only one. You know, if you've been in a situation, you think you're the only one. I want them to understand they're not the only one, and that someone will listen. Find that someone who will listen.
And you were a victim also.
Yes, I have been through this. Of course, I'm bloody-minded enough that I did go back and face my accuser. I went to the police, even though I knew nothing would be done with the information. But I wanted to make sure it was on record so that when he did it again to someone else, that there was another voice out there to corroborate what the next woman went through.
The one thing that I wanted to say about the fact that you wrote a story with that as part of the storyline is that serves a lot of people. That could be the one thing that makes, I know it could be either sex, but I'm going to say a woman. It could make a young woman read that and say, you know what, I really got to say something. Because she's going to right away see herself in the book. She's going to right away see, maybe she hasn't not spoken for 2 years, but maybe she's been reluctant to talk about that thing, that one thing that can't get away from her. And I think a book like yours, I have a niece that went through this and a sister that went through this. And in both cases, well, in my sister's case, she didn't tell anybody for like 30 years, right, Robin? Mm-hmm. My niece, fortunately, you know what happened with her? She went to church. And the pastor was smart enough to say, if any of you young ladies have ever been touched inappropriately, you got to tell somebody. That was it. A smart pastor did that. And in your case, the book just might do that for somebody.
Yeah, and that's truly my hope, is that somebody will read it, and if they are being a victim or have been a victim in the past, that they go ahead and open up about that and start telling people. Until we start talking about this as a normal conversation to have, then it's not going to go away.
And you know what we as guys have to do? We have to make it absolutely, no question about it, we are disgusted by that behavior. It's in the same way, you know, when you hear a child molester going to prison, well, that's the end of him, because those guys are going to show him, you know, what they really think of that kind of a guy. That's the same way the same message we need to put out toward people who abuse women.
Well, and you think about it, though, the statistics are really, really poor for going to prison, because only 1,000 out of 1,000 instances, only 5 end up in prison.
Oh my gosh, really?
And that just is an incredible, and every 73 seconds someone is sexually abused.
And I think your book is so powerful, because we like to think that the foster care system is above board and they have good people and all, which is generally the case, but sometimes it is not. And we have to be aware and be ever vigilant and help these children that are in the foster care system. We have to be their eyes and ears.
Yes. I think as a teen, most teens feel like they don't have much of a voice anyway. So this is kind of, layering on top of that. This is a teen who doesn't feel like she has much of a voice, because who does at that age? On top of that, in the foster care system, where you really feel like you have zero control over your life. You go where somebody tells you, a committee, people you don't know, who don't really, you don't know whether they care for you or not, and they're placing you in all these different homes. You don't know what you're going, you're going with this trash bag full of your belongings, and that's all you've got in life. So on top of that, to then have something else taken away from you, which again strips your voice. Yeah. To me, that was absolutely the way to go, to really show that these people, the feeling of the victim is, I have no voice.
The book is getting really good reviews. If I could just read part of one of them. Oh my goodness, this is a very powerful book. This is a book that you cannot put down. You have to know what happened. I was halfway through, and I was so tired I was falling asleep, and yet I still tried to keep reading. I could not stop. You can't get a better review than that, and it goes on from there, but that's the first couple of lines.
Yeah, I have been overwhelmed by the generosity of the reviews. I feel like I have done my job.
You've done it in more than one way. You've done it as far as just being a satisfied reader. Obviously, you're hitting that mark. But I think you're going to hear when did the book come out? You're going to get letters, I think, from people who've spoken up because of you, who stopped being silent.
On October 1st, so it is out and available.
Okay. So real quickly, so we can get people to the book. I found it on Amazon. Do you have a website that you'd like to direct us to?
SpeakNoEvil.com. Oh, I'm sorry, SpeakNoEvilNovel.com.
SpeakNoEvilNovel.com. All right. Liana Gardner, have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for your strength and your courage.
Thank you again.
All right, we'll be right back.